All right, here we are. Spoilers discussion for the Central Park 5. And I have to say, there was something about this case that really resonated with me. If you've watched the Brain Scratch episode about Tair Rada, first of all, if you haven't, I highly suggest you check it out now, especially if you've seen the Central Park 5. But there is something that is just absolutely nagging at me about getting people's confessions. It seems to be unregulated. It seems to be, based on these stories that I've witnessed and other things I've investigated, it seems to be that police can use whatever means necessary to literally extract a confession. And I don't think that that should continue. I think there needs to be some type of rules set around how confessions are obtained, or if they're valid in court or not, if they're not obtained properly. I mean, just why isn't there some type of better laws around this? Why are these confessions allowed in these cases so easily? In this case, their confessions did not even line up with each other, let alone the crime scene that was found. How did that get through? And in this documentary, you see one of the jurors, and he's just talking about the fact that he knew that none of it made sense, but he was literally just exhausted, so he decided to roll the other way on it. It's very heartbreaking to me that that is a mechanism within this justice system. And that's something that happens in this movie time and time again. People are pushed to the point of exhaustion and then forced to either contribute information or make a decision that impacts the lives of others in a very significant way. And I don't think that needs to be like that. As a matter of fact, I would love it if there was some law kicked into place that any confession that is drawn after more than 4 hours of interview is inadmissible in court, period. And outside of that, any confession that is brought into court needs to be substantiated with facts that support that confession. When you have 5 different confessions and they're talking about different clothes that were wore, it happening at different parts of Central Park, none of the stories line up and none of that matches up to the evidence, those confessions should have been thrown out instantly. They shouldn't have even been considered. And that's kind of one place that is, this documentary looks into it a little bit, but it doesn't strike into it too strongly, is are confessions like this, how important are they? People, apparently, currently, people hinge on confessions like this. If you have someone that confesses, they pretty much take that at face value. People get things wrong even when they think they're completely right. And if you have a confession that's based on bad information like that, how does it hold up in court? It racks my brain. I can't understand it. What's really sad about this film, there was a few moments that really struck me. One of them is that, unfortunately I can't remember his name, but one of the defendants is retelling his story, and he's almost brought to tears. But he's almost brought to tears not by the horrible things that have been done to him in terms of him being incarcerated for years of his life for a crime he didn't commit. He's brought almost to tears when he is retelling the part where one of the officers alluded that he was an animal. And that literally breaks my heart, especially seeing what these guys have gone through. In that same vein, it's sad to me that these guys are so happy that they got that conviction overturned when most of them were already out of prison. That just breaks my... It's like they're being given the absolute minimal of what they deserve, and they feel like that's a miracle to them. And that is truly disgusting, at least from my perspective. Those guys deserve so much more. The truth of this case is the cops got so focused on not wanting to do their job properly. They had 5 kids in jail. They had a rapist, and there was a known problem in New York with a serial rapist happening at that time, and no one decided to try to link that to their investigation. That's more than just an oversight. That is completely lazy. Instead, you've got a detective that says, oh, you've got a bunch of kids that were causing trouble in the park? Hey, I think we've got our rapists, and let's point that direction, and they never get their head out of it. It's like their head is literally going up their a-holes, and they can't pull it out to look for the truth because they would rather take the easy road, make this narrative, force it on 14 and 15-year-olds, and get them to retell it. they know that that is an easier road to get this case closed rather than search for the truth. And then what happens? Well, the rapist goes on and he goes and hurts other people. There is another point in this film that it was really brilliantly said, where a historian is talking about it, and he's saying that I think it's important to look at this and for us to realize that maybe we're not as good as we think we are. And boy, that really resonated with me. There's been a lot of times, even in my own life, where I was looking for other people to be brave or to stand up or to support someone else that might have been an underdog, and time again they don't. I think as a whole, we kind of sometimes act like the cops do. We look for the quick and easy way, we look for the way to stay safe, and we don't want to rock the boat. And is justice truly served when we're doing that? Yeah, my head wants to shake no pretty violently right now. So anyway, on a semi-personal note, it was pretty inspiring to me that the woman that was raped, first of all, didn't die, made a recovery, and I loved hearing that she completed the New York Marathon only 6 years after this event, and especially crossing the finish line so close to where she was found after that horrible event that happened to her. That was a little beacon of light in a pretty overarching dark story. It was just really tough documentary to get through, but very eye-opening, and I hope you guys enjoyed it just as much. Please give me your opinion about it in the comments below. I'll be sure to check those out, and thank you so much for hanging out with me today on the Geek and Dorks channel. I'll catch you next time. Take care, stay safe.